Chapter 21. Like all things. Charlie doesn't want to leave the next morning after breakfast, and to be honest, I don't either. My mom hugs and thanks Tio Arminio. "Now you have to come back sooner," he says. "I hardly saw you." "I know," my mom says. "I promise we'll be back soon, maybe even this summer." "This is your home," Tio Arminio says. My mom got close to him on this trip, and I could tell by the way she kept calling him to tell him we were okay on the road. Next she turns to Maria. "You can stay with us whenever you want," my mom says. "Thank you," she says. "We're not too far from New Jersey. There are amazing tomatoes there." "In New Jersey?" Maria asks. "Oh, there are places that will surprise you," my mom says. "Jersey is one of them." Maria laughs. "Maybe we'll fly from Florida to visit you in Pennsylvania," Sergio says. "What do you mean, Papa?" "After I visit you in college, maybe we can take a trip to Springfield." "You're afraid of flying." I think I'll manage. Right, Marcus?" "Not gonna lie, Sergio. Flying is scary," I tell him. "Marcus!" my mom says. "What? I'm serious. It's nerve-wracking." I look at the old building with no doorknobs, but totally worth it. Angela braids Hilda's hair at the foot of the stairs, and Hilda blows kisses at us. "Wir werden ich vermissen," she says. Hilda says, "We'll miss you," Angela says. Hilda nods while Angela finishes the braids and then gets up to hug us. "Be well, my handsome Marcus," she whispers to me. I nod, and I think I blush a little. Sergio puts his arm on my shoulder. "Oh, Marcus," he says, bringing me closer. "I'll be sending you the bill for my broken-down truck." He winks, and I laugh. After our last goodbyes, we all hop in a cab and head to the airport. My mom promises we'll return, and I believe her. We all do. We finally land in Philly after a long day of travel. The airport is quiet. It doesn't sound like Puerto Rico. It's like someone hit the mute button. We walk outside, and the brisk air and gray sky remind me that we're back home. Puerto Rico is humid. The heat makes you open up. Literally, your pores sweat constantly. Here it's the opposite. The cold tightens. You have to keep things closed, bundled. My mom sounds refreshed. She sounds like she's ready to take on the world. "First thing I'm doing on Monday is meeting with Principal Jenkins. He has to accommodate us. He must." My mom, the fighter. For dinner, we order takeout. We sit around the kitchen table and munch on black beans and rice with steak from the Cuban restaurant in town. We don't have a Puerto Rican restaurant in our neighborhood. The food from this place is good. Not as good as the stuff I ate back in PR, but it's not bad. Charlie helps clean up after dinner, which is a total shocker. "Whoa, maybe we should send you to Dharma's farm once a month." Charlie says he wants to go back tomorrow. "Not so soon, honey. We will, though." Charlie finishes washing up, takes a bath by himself, and gets into his pajamas. He is happy because he knows he's going back to school on Monday. He wants to tell all his friends about his trip to Puerto Rico. "They're going to be so jealous," he says while I tuck him in. He wrinkles his nose and holds out his hand. I bring my head down to his, and our noses touch. "Nose kiss," he says, rubbing his nose against mine. "Mr. Wonka," I tell him, smiling back. "Ha! Mr. Wonka! Mom! Marcus called me Mr. Wonka!" "All right, go to bed," I tell him, patting his chest softly. "Night, Marcus." "Night, buddy. Love you." "Love you, too." I tell my mom goodnight before heading back to my room. I take Danny's camera and look through the pictures of our trip. There are a whole bunch of photos of Charlie, my mom, Dharma, Tia Arminio, Sergio, Maria, Hilda, and Angela. There is one of Tio Pepe next to the pernil he roasted. There are several of the places we went on our road trip across the countryside. None of the fancy hotel. None of my dad. I upload them onto the computer and put them in a file. I label the file and check my email. Danny has sent me a note. I open it. It says he spent all break getting kids to sign the petition to keep me in school. He tells me parents have signed it also. He says he's going to hold rallies at the school until they, dang, he uses big words, exonerate me of all wrongdoing. Then he goes on to say what a punk Stephen is, and that kids are starting to speak out in bigger numbers. He says Stephen is the one who should get expelled. I appreciate the email. Danny is cool, but I don't want Stephen to get expelled. That's not going to do anything. A kid like Stephen is just scared. Scared of not being liked. Scared of things he doesn't understand. I don't hate him. I don't think he's ever going to use the R word again. Part of me wishes I hadn't punched him. I could have really hurt him. That's not cool. But then again, if I hadn't punched him, I might not have gone to PR. I respond to Danny's email. Thanks, I appreciate it, but I don't want Steven to get expelled. I just want to go back to school and finish out the year. Oh yeah, and thanks for the camera. I attached some photos I took. They're of family, mostly. I'll come by tomorrow to return the camera. Thanks again, man. Really. Marcus. I look at the file name attached to the email. Familia. I hit send and turn off the computer. I scan through the pictures on Danny's camera one more time while on my bed. I took over 1,000 photos.